Now we're going to send it over to the boys in the Senate building for our Senate hearing.
Welcome to another Senate hearing. In this segment, we will be answering your questions. To get your questions chosen for this segment, you can leave them in our Discord server or in the comment section below. Increased odds to get your questions picked if you are a channel member, so make sure you join today. Let's get right into this. Our first question comes from Avenging Path 7. He asks, what Star Wars video game is your favorite, and what makes it so great? So, Mark, I believe you know mine, but I will say it is the original Battlefront 2, the 2005 Battlefront 2. I think there definitely are a lot, in terms of my favorites, that are very close. Honestly, the 2017 Battlefront 2 really is up there. I think it was great. It just needed some, continued support to continue to put out content, and it really could have pushed there. There were some like game modes and stuff that I felt like were missing, but that, and then the original Lego Star Wars, just Lego Star Wars the video game, is very high up there as well. I could honestly say it's my number one, but it's just, it doesn't compete with the original Battlefront 2. I think it really just, it hit on all fronts. It came out at the perfect time, right when the prequels ended. The campaign, the story, following the 501st, unreal. Unreal.
Unheard of at that time, too.
Honestly. And the maps were amazing. We saw more planets that that is the most we've seen of them is in that game. Megiddo, I don't know if it's been in anything else off the top of my head, other than the few times you see it in Revenge of the Sith, and then you get a full-on map in the game. I think it was just the different classes. I think they really hit on them. The mechanics were great. The stats at the end of the games. Galactic Conquest might be the greatest game mode in video game history. The fact that they didn't do that in the new Battlefront 2 was mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
Like that concept for a video game is so great, and it would be even better if you could actually do it against someone, like an actual person. So, but either way, I mean, everything across the board, they had great heroes in that game, heroes and villains, I guess I should say. Were there ones missing? Sure, but it came out at a time where it's like, this comes out, this is what you have. We're selling you the disc, man. Yeah, it's on a PS2.
Yeah, there's no
updates. You're not getting an update. So, I think what they came out with for that time period was unreal. So, that is sure. That's my answer. Let's go ahead and hear yours, man.
Yeah, man, that OG Battlefront 2 is goated. Tip my respects to it. The Complete Saga, also another goated one. But my personal favorite is Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew.
Yeah. Now the reason I say this is because playing this on the Xbox 360, I absolutely fell in love with this game, mainly just because of just how powerful you were in the game. Like, I felt like I could take on a whole army and not even be touched. And it was also like you've never seen that before in any video games, none of that. So I think, and it really kind of transformed me into like more of a single player game type of person. I love single player games. I genuinely lead towards them a little more. But yeah, Starkiller, Galen Merrick, a great character. I love this story. Um, him being like Darth Vader's secret apprentice and Vader trying to overthrow Palpatine was cool. Um, Fighting Darth Vader and winning was cool, I thought, because at that point, Vader was untouchable. So I thought that was really cool. But now Galen Merrick, he really grew on me as a character. I love the game. Him holding the lightsaber backwards was always so cool. I thought that was like the coolest thing I've seen. And then also the dark side ending when he became Palpatine's new apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
That whole like outfit that he had, I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I might still think that, honestly. But that's my favorite game.
Now, I do have a question for you. Is that the game where 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 he says, what's the line? What's the line? You know what line I'm talking about. He says, you said you would stay away.
I lied. Yeah, that is the game.
Bro, it might just be top 3 because of that.
It is
literally the only reason.
But I lied.
No, I can't. I mean, I played through that as well. I have it. I believe I have it behind me for the PS2. I think I have it, or I have the Force Unleashed 2. One of them.
Underrated game.
But yeah, I figured you were gonna go in that route. I'm much more of a I don't want to say not single player, but more of like a sandboxy sort of arcade, like not a full on just storyline type game. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean. Yeah.
So like I can play a game single player, but it just not a single storyline. But except unless it's gas, like if it's mega gas to me, I'll play it. Which is like that's why the Battlefront 2 one sticks with me.
Yeah. Now for the second question of this Senate hearing, coming in from our main man Wu, channel member. His question is, in your opinion, what does the new Rey movie need to be great? Now, I kind of need to compose my thoughts a little bit. I'll hand it over to Logan to hear what he's got to say about this.
I mean, I can't fully make a full-on thought of like this is what needs to be in it.
Yeah.
Cuz it could really be anything. I'm going to trust them that they will make a good movie out of it. I guarantee I'll probably enjoy it. I find it hard to not enjoy something in Star Wars.
So
just because of how much of a fan I am. So I will probably enjoy it. For it to be on the, be a great movie, so it's really going to have to compete for like pushing top 5 material.
Yeah.
It really is going to have to be something different. Like just we need a different type of story. I mean, cuz at least what's been said about it is supposed to be Rey rebuilding the Jedi Order, bringing in new Jedi. So I'm assuming that the antagonist of it is going to be a Sith. Like it's going to be something to do with the Sith. That's going to be the whole conflict, which kind of scares me because I think it's just, I don't want to say it's overdone at this point. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm overreacting. But I would love for it to be less about fighting the Sith,
Yeah, I feel that.
You do have to have something that you're going against, some sort of other opposition. Because without that, you don't really have much of a story going on other than, because it's one movie. It's not a trilogy. If it was a trilogy, you could set something up so it could be a little bit more laid back. But it's one movie, so you've got to have a beginning and an end to this.
Yeah.
Things I would love to see though. I'm expecting that we're going to see Rey fighting a lot with her yellow lightsaber. That is one thing. I
Mhm.
want to see it. I've wanted to see it since The Rise of Skywalker came out.
I've same here.
So that is one thing I want to see. I would love for John Boyega to come back and train as a Jedi.
Hmm.
I would love for that. One thing I don't want, actually, I should say a couple things. I don't want them to bring in these other characters, these other Jedi that people want to see, like Ezra, Cal Kestis. I don't want to see that one because I'm pretty sure in this timeline they're going to be like 80, which isn't a terrible thing because I think Count Dooku canonically was in like his 80s, maybe
Hmm.
past that. Because in the Star Wars universe, humans live much longer than in real life.
Yeah.
Uh, so it does kind of make sense for them to be possible, but I guess we don't know if I guess we'll find out with Ahsoka, the new Ahsoka show. Maybe we'll see an ending for Ezra. Maybe he doesn't even make it to this time period. We still don't know on Cal Kestis, but I just don't want to see that.
Hmm.
I would love for them to bring new things in. I would love for them, if they're gonna bring back another character, if they're gonna bring, who do you think I'm gonna say?
I mean, I don't know. You can go a couple directions here.
If they're gonna bring someone in, this is a hot take, and I'm not talking Master or Apprentice. I think it should be Gunji.
Dude, Gunji would be
Tell
fired,
me I'm
dude.
wrong. Tell me I'm
Nah,
wrong.
dude, that would be fired.
It needs to
That would
be
be
Gunji,
fired.
a
That would be
Wookiee.
fired.
So obviously he's going to live for a long time.
Hmm.
They need to bring Gunji.
That would be sick.
We know he's alive. We know he's alive. I need to see Gunji in that movie. Will they do it? I don't think so. I think they're gonna go the route of very much independent of a lot of things within Star Wars. I think it's gonna be a very independent movie,
Yeah.
create a lot of new things, a lot of new characters, stuff like that. That's what I'm expecting. But I would love to see Gunji. But for it to be great, I think it just needs to maybe not focus on the Sith. That's the only thing I could possibly say, but not that I would be mad. I I don't know. I can't think in my head of something that could make it just top 5 instantly. You know, if you told me, cuz I think Rogue One is top 5, if you told me what does this movie have to be top 5, I wouldn't know. You just got to give it to me and I'll tell you. So, I'm just going to be patient, wait for it, and we'll decide from there. Maybe I'll have criticisms after seeing it, but that's the best explanation I could give. Do you
Yeah.
have any sort of thoughts now?
Yeah, no, that definitely helped me a little bit. Because I was having trouble kind of formulating an answer, kind of like how I wanted to give my thoughts on it. I definitely think that they should. I agree with you in the fact that they should kind of stay away from the Sith. I think, um, because in my opinion, it's overdone at this point.
Well, because
um,
I feel like Palpatine is supposed to be like the end all be all.
I mean, he said all the Sith in episode 9. He
Yeah,
really is the end all be all in this for the
yeah.
Sith. Let's
So
just be honest.
if they're gonna end that there, I feel like it has to be something different than the Sith.
Yeah,
But go on.
and it definitely should end with Palpatine for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with it, here's the thing: I want it to be kind of independent, like do its own thing, obviously, because like I felt like Episode 7 was probably my favorite, but it was kind of like a not an exact copycat, but it took a lot of inspiration from Episode 4, obviously.
Yeah.
So I kind of want it to do its own thing and not really copy anything. But that was my main complaint with the sequels. Not now because they're tying in stuff to the sequels, but when the sequels were released, like they were so just out far out and they weren't connected to anything. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely think that this new movie should have obviously it'll have some ties to the sequels and stuff. I do want to see John Boyega back 100%. I think he deserves some redemption for Finn So I think him training as a Jedi would be really cool. I think maybe having Luke, Mark Hamill come back and kind of give guidance, to Rey and Finn, or Yoda or somebody like that. I think that would be pretty cool. I just don't know. Like, I feel like they're gonna go. I don't want them to go to Sith. I really don't. But it's hard because it's like, you try to think, well, what's the next best thing? And I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be like an internal conflict, or because you don't want to go.
That's probably the best you could do. But then maybe it's like, maybe it's too similar to Luke's storyline, where it's something within the Order.
Yeah, but then you don't want to go, oh, let's just make a whole nother like empire again.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's
so it's like I don't really know what it needs to do to be great. I mean,
yeah, it's a tough decision. At least off of the top of my head, what I could think, Sith probably is the best option.
I mean, honestly, her story, if they do the internal conflict or something like that, like her story already kind of lines up with Luke's in a sense, kind of. So it's like, if they do that, then it's literally just copy paste, dude. It's
I would love for, because I think it's been said, maybe he's just saying this just because he doesn't want to give anything away, but I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill has said something that he's not going to be involved with this new movie. Which I don't completely hate, because I would love to be just let those characters go where they were. The ending was great. Let that be that. I think so. You mentioned it. I think Yoda could make an appearance. I think Yoda is like, he is the voice of the Jedi at this point.
Essentially, yeah.
The scenes with him in episode 8 are amazing, and him just talking to Luke. I think maybe Rey would get to that point, since she is essentially the Grand Master of this new Jedi Order. I think for her to get a little bit of guidance there would be great. And then Yoda also brings in a little bit more humor, and it's a lot more Star Wars-y humor that it needs. So I think Yoda is kind of the perfect one for that. So I guess that's another thing that I would like to see. If we're gonna bring someone in to give guidance, I think you either do Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor's there. He's getting older. Maybe people might be okay with him, trying to resemble Alec Guinness a little bit. Maybe it'll be okay. Or Yoda.
I think Leia could work too, maybe.
I would have said that if Carrie Fisher was alive.
Yeah, that's true.
It's unfortunate.
That is true. I mean,
but I just don't want them to do any sort of deep fake sort of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Because they did do that in episode 9, and it was kind of... Well, I think they used old scenes or something.
Yeah, they did use old scenes, so it made it very awkward.
yeah, it didn't really work. But, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough to... Because I feel they're definitely in a tough spot where it's like, well, who's going to be the antagonist? Or, what kind of challenges is Rey going to face at this point? I don't know.
It's definitely tough. It really is.
Yeah. But, I mean, like you said, I'll go to it. I will probably enjoy it, at least a small amount, at bare minimum, because I love Star Wars, so I'll watch anything and enjoy it. So
100%.
It definitely has an opportunity to be something great. So
I'm looking forward to it.
So am I. Well, thank you, Woo. We appreciate the question.
All right, to get into our final question of this Senate hearing, this one comes in from Avenging Path 7. We've never seen this man. He's here with a brand new question. This time, he asks, who is a Star Wars YouTuber or streamer that you enjoy watching? And what about them do you enjoy? So, Mark, I know we've both talked about this in the past. We don't really watch a whole lot of Star Wars YouTube.
Yeah.
At least consistently.
Yeah, it's like on and off for sure.
But I do have a few people to talk about. So, first off, to just explain, this channel did start out as a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes channel. It is a Star Wars mobile game, and there's obviously YouTubers on the platform making content for the game. That's what this channel started out as. So I get to give my usual shout outs to Arnold, who is by far the biggest creator on the game. Absolute legend. I would love for him to go into other stuff within Star Wars or anything else, because I just think he's a great content creator.
For
Phenomenal. And then have to give the shout out to AP Gaines. He's a legend.
Yep.
And he's one of the funniest people in the community for sure. So I just had to give my shout outs to those off rip. So to get into more of the actual just full on Star Wars sort of deal, Mark, I don't know if you've ever watched this group of guys. They're called Blind Wave. They do a lot of reaction stuff. That's kind of basically what they're known for. They do some other things, but their main stuff is reaction stuff. They don't just react to Star Wars, a whole bunch of other stuff. But they did just recently, because they've been covering Star Wars for the longest time, and they're huge fans. But they did just recently go over to make a Star Wars specific channel for the Star Wars reactions, and then they have a podcast. And some inspiration for the Galactic Core really did come from them and their podcast. So I got to give a shout out to them. And also there's someone in Blind Wave. His name's Eric. Mark, I am not joking. He is a Star Wars encyclopedia. Unreal. You could ask him anything and he'll tell you. Like, it's just crazy.
Insane. That's insane.
So shout out to him. But mainly I watch a lot of reaction stuff, reaction/discussion stuff when it comes to Star Wars, because I just love to see the stuff about the new things that come out. So any sort of new show, I want to see what people think of it and then their discussions about it, because it really adds a lot to me as well in my either knowledge or my, I don't want to say opinion.
Yeah.
But
I get what you mean though.
But like, if someone, even if I'm just scrolling Twitter or something, if someone says something about something that maybe I'm like iffy on it, and they say something that I'm like, wow, okay, then maybe I'll change my mind on it. So that's, I love hearing other opinions, because I get to see other people's perspectives on things. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, in terms of Star Wars content, it's really just that. So shout out to the Galaxy of Heroes community, and then shout out to Blind Wave, because they're some legends. So
yeah.
Let's go over to you, Mark. What are you watching, man?
Well, obviously I'm watching Arnold and AP Games. Shout out to them once again. If we haven't shouted them out enough. Dudes are goats. But typically when I start getting in that Star Wars mood and I want to watch some Star Wars content, the first channel I'll go to is Eckhart's Ladder. I believe I'm saying that correctly.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I love his just lore videos and just the way that he explains everything. I feel like I really learn a lot going to his channel. He seems like a really cool guy. And I overall just love going to his for just lore and just to kind of see what he's been uploading.
Yeah.
And then I also watch Bombastic. He does like the Star Wars games essentially. He'll play Star Wars games, and when I want to watch some Star Wars games, I'll go to his channel. Like when Jedi Survivor came out, he did it was like 30 minutes plus on these videos. And when I got done playing through, like doing my playthrough and basically getting the 100% all that stuff done, I went straight to his channel and just started binge watching all those videos just to kind of get his reaction and stuff. So that's typically who I go to for like the games that come out essentially. So those are my two kind of go-tos, and obviously Arnold and AP Games for just some funny content essentially.
Yeah, I think in terms of Star Wars content, there would be a lot more that I would probably go to if there were, because a lot of content that I watch, it's either a podcast.
Yeah.
I'll listen to a podcast because I just do a lot of things where I just want to listen to something. I don't want to full on watch something usually. But if I want to watch something, a lot of times it is going to be gaming oriented. So depending on if they come out with some more Star Wars games, then there might be some more creators added to the list of what I might watch. But as of right now, there's not a whole lot going on that I'm super tapped into. So that's why I just I just don't have a whole lot. But I would love to try to get the Star Wars community expanded, because I feel like we are doing something a little bit unique. And I'm not saying I want people to copy me. I don't want people to copy us.
You want people to kind of
but
get some
I want people to draw some inspiration from something like this and really bring a lot of entertainment and a lot of variety to the Star Wars community on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
But other than that, don't really have much else to add. So thank you, Avenging Past 7, for that question. Shout out to AP Gaines, Arnold, Blind Wave, Eckhart's Ladder, Bombastic. Shout out to those guys, absolute legends. And guess that's it there. So this has been another Senate hearing. Again, if you want to get your questions chosen for this segment, please leave them in the Discord server linked in the description or in the comment section below. Increased odds if you are a channel member, so please think about joining today. And we'll go ahead and send it back to the boys at the desk.